We have a Hollywood Heat MPU board sent to me with an indication that the daughter card needs its modification, and the client indicated that the game would reset, and that's especially true if you flex this daughter card, the OEM daughter card. Now, this daughter card is one that I created and had built by JLC PCB, and it is it does the same thing as Ed's daughter card did from Great Plains Electronics. It's redundant signals between U2 and U3. Now, Ed built his with a 7404 in it. Perhaps at the time these little tiny chips were not available, but that is a single inverter gate that I solder onto the board very carefully. So I've replaced the daughter board. There are two machine pin sockets holding that in. The only time I like to use machine pin sockets is when you're inserting machine pins. I have also replaced the filter cap at the power input. I've re-tinned this connector. I got to re-tin the switch matrix, playfield switch matrix. This is playfield switch matrix. This is cabinet switch matrix. And I've installed a super cap to hold the memory in the 5101. No, this is not an AMI 5101, so I just leave it in place. I have implemented the SLAM mod. It was not on the MPU board, but we have implemented that now. So let's boot it, and I'll show you the display since there's no other real indication that it's booted. You can see I've got a Lizzie Development 80B test panel that I've finally integrated onto my test panel for System 80. And here's the lamp matrix operating. This board came from Pascal Janin. This is one of his prior revisions of the System 80 test board. It's pretty nice. He's revised it since then. This looks like heck, I know it does, but the options were few and far between. I had a connector like this soldered to here and a connector like this soldered here, etc., because I thought it'd be a good idea to just press the whole thing onto the bottom of the driver board, but that works fine, but getting it off there is not so much fine. So I decided to go with discrete cables. Now, in hindsight, what I know about building PCBs, designing them, etc., what I've learned from my friend Victor, I'd probably made this myself because there are some modifications that I would make to it in particular. Anyway, we are booted, and I'm going to use my old homemade switch matrix tester to get into test mode, the credit button to skip to lamp test, and we're just testing the MPU. But oh, this is nice that Hollywood Heat does go in numerically ascending order, I guess, for the lamp circuits. I have to keep that in mind, and it's tested all the lamp circuits. The next test is solenoid test. So I'll pan back a little bit because the solenoids show up in the panel in the upper left sometimes. And really all we want to see here is that it's driving the solenoids, not that the driver board. We're not really testing the driver board, we're testing the MPU to make sure that it's driving the solenoids. And it did. The next test is switch matrix test. And I'll go across the diagonal of the switch matrix. I guess I could add a diagonal buttons to this tester since it's my own tester. And all the switches are operational. Dip switches, E0, E7, 7 and 53, E0, E7, 7, 5, 3, correct. And we'll make sure it's driving the display correctly. Now I have a pin side thread on these Lizzie development boards. I built one for System 80, or I created a post for how to build a Lizzie 80. I'm going to create a post for how to operate the Lizzie 80B display panel on your bench. And let's see, the next test is memory test. Good, and the checksum, we're all good. So this MPU board is now good to go. I'll reboot it, show you the lamp matrix when I do that. Outstanding.